Hi there, my name is Cassie and I am a qualified K-6 primary school teacher. I trained in Lismore and graduated in 2002. I only got in a few days of teaching before having my second child and then started teaching again in April 2003 in the lovely Port Macquarie area. I have developed a reading program for homeschoolers and anyone who would like extra tutoring in learning to read. I've been teaching Year 1 for the past 7 years straight and have trained in multiple programs in learning to read based on the science of reading. So I've kind of pulled the best of the programs and the ideas behind them to develop this program, and I know it works because the classes I have taught have had incredible results and growth over the past few years. So I wanted to explain to you how or why I've written the program the way I have. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. There is a page here and it's Understanding the Science of Reading. You can see the URL at the top if you'd like to look it up later, and I recommend you do. It's good information. Okay, so I've based it on the simple view of reading. There's some letters there that don't mean too much, but let's come down and have a look. Okay, it was developed by Goff and Tunma, 1986. D stands for decoding, and they're all our skills in actually learning the mechanics of how to read. And then we have language comprehension or linguistic comprehension. That's understanding words, vocabulary, connecting with ideas and texts. These two need to both be developed well in order for someone to become a fluent reader who comprehends well. And that is why we read. We don't read for no reason. We read to learn, to understand, to communicate, and to connect with our world. So we need that comprehension. Down further, we have Scarborough's reading rope. Down here. Now this is where we want to end up. We want skilled readers. And in order to make skilled readers, we have two main parts, and they were up the top in the simple view of reading. So the decoding, this is our word recognition strategies. And a lot of programs miss out on this first part, phonological awareness. It's really important. It's like the foundations of the building. Okay, and often if they are missing, and if I come over to Hegarty's, he states here that if those foundations are missing, then that's where we have cracks appear, and students or children start to have problems and difficulties. They usually do take off at first and read quite well, but by the time we start with more complex code, then things fall apart. So it's really important that we develop the phonological awareness. That is why the first 4.5 weeks of the program I have written, you will not encounter letters and sounds. We are specifically working here. We're developing the ideas around words and written communication, syllables. We're listening for sounds that are the same, like words that are the same or different, listening for rhyme, and we're playing and manipulating words and sounds to really develop an understanding that we can work with these sounds. We can pull them apart, we can put them back together, and once we have that foundation solid, then when we move on to the actual letters and sounds, it sticks a lot better. Okay, so down here we have the decoding, which starts halfway through week 4, where we begin to learn the letters and sounds, and then use these skills that we've already learned to segment words and blend sounds to put them together into words. It becomes more natural when we move on to using the sounds in there. We also have sight recognition, so That is what I call tricky words. Some people call them heart words. They are words that, because we are beginning reading, we haven't learned those complex codes yet. And so there are parts that we will have to memorize. There are parts we can sound out, but other parts that we need to memorize so we can begin reading. Okay. Another aspect of the program is language comprehension. Now, this is my main focus on the 5th day of the week. I call it Fun Friday, and it will involve a storybook every week. And it is to enjoy language. It is to hear quality vocabulary. An adult will read to the child, and that is the best thing to do so that they can be exposed to this language. There will be links to some of the books that are read-alouds online or PDFs. However, I'd encourage you to get yourself a copy of the books so that the child can actually practice turning the pages and locating the words and looking at those pictures and really interacting with the book. It is here where they'll develop their skills in vocabulary. Background knowledge just means that they connect with it. So if they're reading about a zoo, they might have been to a zoo. They've already got knowledge about that, and that's going to help them comprehend the story. Language structures, we'll come into it a little bit later. Verbal reasoning, so that this is where we question, why did they do that? What would you do? So they're really connecting and understanding at a deeper level with the text. And literacy knowledge. This is touched upon in the first 4 weeks too, the print concepts. So how do we hold a book? Which way do we turn the page? How do we read? Together, these aspects are woven into the program, just as we can see here, and will help your child become a skilled reader. So what would happen if one of these areas was weaker than the other in a program? This diagram is a good representation of what would happen. We want to be up here, typically developing language and reading. That means we need good decoding skills, but we also need good language comprehension skills. If we are better with comprehension and not so good with decoding, we move down this way and we become, it becomes difficult. We have basic reading skills. There are also some diagnosed reasons why people might be here, but I have taught children with many needs, including dyslexia or specific learning delay, autism, ADHD, lots of different children with different abilities, and they have all learnt to read. Some of them need more exposure and more time, and it takes a bit longer, but this program works. If we have really good decoding skills but poor language comprehension, which sometimes happens with children with autism, then we can have a language impairment. And so we need to be teaching both of those skills, exposing them to the language, to the vocabulary, engaging with text, as well as learning those good decoding skills so that they can be successful readers. Okay, so all these skills are built into the program, as well as some of Hegarty's ideas around manipulating sounds. You can see there are some down further. If you would like to have a look at this website, it's hegarty.org. And they've all been woven into my program. Everything that is taught is revised at intervals throughout the program, and skills are become increasingly complex, but also every lesson and every concept is based on I do, we do, you do. So I do it first, I model it, I show it, I support, then I encourage your child to join in, we do it together. And then as they move in confidence, then they should be able to do it independently. Okay, if I just click over to my website, Aussie Readers, there is a trial that you can avail yourself of. It's for kindergarten week 1. And I just want to show you how the lessons are set up. So you've got the 5 days a week. Every lesson begins that. Every lesson begins with a video which specifically and explicitly teaches the concepts. Watch it with your child so that you know what the purpose of each lesson is. Once the video is done, they can be anywhere between 5 to 12 minutes. As they progress throughout kindergarten and into year 1, they will become longer as there is more complexities to the decoding. There are activities below, and there will be links to printing them out. This is just a trial, so you won't have access to the resources page, but you will have access to the activities suggested in the lessons. So for the first lesson, it's all about words. What is a word? How to recognize a single word and counting words in sentences. And the word train, which is used in the video, so it shows you how to use it. You can then use it to count words in sentences. There is also links, some of them to my resources, some to other resources on the net that are already developed and good to use for your child to use. When you're done, you can move on to the next lesson. Okay, and you can see this one's about rhyme. And we come down and we have links. So if I was to go, this one is about rhyming pairs. If I was to click on the link, then it will take you to the activity for that day. Now, the video is only a small, it is very important, but it is only a small part of the day's lessons. It is the activities where you need to practice and develop the skills that have been introduced in the videos. We are working towards mastery for all of these activities. Of course, they're not expected to become experts at rhyme in 1 or 2 lessons. It is revisited, but it takes time to develop the skills, and so you need to work with your child to develop the skills. They're all there. All the instructions are there. You don't need to invent anything or think about how to do it. Just spend the time with your child to develop the skills. All right, well, I hope that you choose my program, and I look forward to hearing from you.